Hey everybody, and welcome to the show. In this episode, we are going to be giving you our review of the brand new Brunch at Chef Mickey's in the Contemporary Resort. That's coming up next, live from the Bob Varley Studio here in Orlando, Florida. This is the Diz Unplugged. This is the Diz Unplugged, episode 822 for the week of June 2nd, 2015. The Diz Unplugged is brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel, experts at helping you plan the perfect Disney vacation. Visit them on the web at www.dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. Well, hello again, everyone, and welcome to the Diz Unplugged. I am your host, Dustin West, joined at the table this week by my good friends, John Magi.
Hi, everybody.
Kevin Close.
Hello.
Our newest member of the team, Jackie Gailey.
Hi, everybody.
Corey Martin.
Just happy to be here.
Of course he is. And in the back in the nook, we have our rhino.
We have our rhino.
We have our rhino.
Endangered species.
And we have our associate producer, Craig Williams.
Hey, y'all.
Hey, y'all.
Hey, y'all.
Well, again, welcome to the show. Like I said in the intro, we have our review of the brand new Brunch that started on May 31st at Chef Mickey's. Now, this is the first time Chef Mickey's has ever done anything like this that I'm aware of. And Chef Mickey's is it's been a staple at the Contemporary Resort on the concourse for years and years and years, and they've always offered breakfast, character breakfast buffet, and dinner. I believe it's a character dinner buffet as well, but now we have a little in between. We have the Brunch, and we're going to give you our impressions of that. And Kevin, this is kind of your arena, so maybe you can help form this conversation.
Do an impression. My impression of Brunch. It's lunch. It's breakfast and lunch mixed together.
Okay,
That's the show. Here we go.
Bye.
bye.
No, it was. I thought the food was good. I've always thought the food was okay at Chef Mickey's. It was always a little chaotic. There are things I thought were great. The breakfast is, it's breakfast buffet at Disney. There's
Right.
not a lot more to say about it. They've added ribs, and there was a mango covered salmon while we were there, and excuse me, and there was an etouffee. And our friend Val from Louisiana, if she ever tasted it, I think she would have passed out. She would not have been happy with Disney's etouffee. I wasn't happy with it. It wasn't very good. The ribs were okay. The salmon, it was salmon with mango salsa on top of it. But the breakfast buffet was extensive and well done. I mean, there were some cheesy potatoes that we thought were great. Mm-hmm. Everybody seemed really excited about the fact that there was kielbasa on the buff.
Yeah.
I made Rhino gasp again.
I love kielbasa.
And everybody thought
There's a drop for you.
that's what makes him so popular.
Oh, man.
I'm not stopping this.
Always goes.
But I thought it was good. There were some things that I thought they had cheaped out on. Before, when you went, there was always a character at the front where you had a photo opportunity. Now there's this little airport Mickey gift shop with a chef hat on, and you take your picture with a styrofoam character.
It's like
Yeah.
the thing that's in a Disney store.
Right.
It's the saddest thing ever.
And you stand in front of a plate. I thought that was kind of cheesy.
Right. When you think about like Goofy's Kitchen out in Disneyland, you have the characters that are roaming around, but you have a character photo op with Goofy at I don't remember if it's at the beginning or the end of your meal that's separate from everything else. And this particular meal at Chef Mickey's had Mickey wandering around the room, so he wasn't there for that photo op. He should have been.
Right.
Right.
There also, it was as far as I could tell, it was the Fab Five. It was Mickey, Minnie, Goofy, Pluto, and Donald wandering around.
Right.
However, there wasn't a lot of time spent with anybody. We met a lot of listeners there that day, and one family said Mickey stopped for 10 seconds, waved at everybody, and walked away.
Our character interaction was lacking, to say the least.
Yeah.
At one point, Pete actually berated Goofy, and Goofy had to go take a break. And I am not. Am I exaggerating?
Goofy had
No.
crisis counseling.
It was a bit awkward between Pete and Goofy.
It was
I'm
a
gonna
bit
say,
awkward.
well, what happened was, I mean, first of all, these characters, when they came by the table, it seemed like they came in rapid fire succession. It was like a parade of characters. And when Goofy, who had just spent a lot of time with the other tables, came by ours, and I have video of it. And I'll have to play a video here in just a moment. He simply walked by and waved and kept going, and we all assumed it's like, okay, there's no kids at our table, so maybe
well, there were 4 grown men. He spent time with the child next to us.
So
but
you can come and high five, and you
we
do
paid
that
the
fun
same
stuff.
amount. He should have stopped.
he didn't even stop for to pose for a picture or anything.
I was at Chef Mickey's once years and years ago, and they had a make your own cupcake stand. And Goofy went out and got a great big bowl of sprinkles and went up several stories in the Contemporary and was dropping cupcakes into this big bowl of sprinkles, and the kids would then get one if you wanted a Goofy dropped cupcake. And at the time, it was one of those things that, you think, oh, that's really silly. However, the kids were beside themselves to get the cupcakes that Goofy was dropping off the 3rd floor.
That's the coolest
Yeah, I think
thing
that just
ever.
violates some OSHA stuff there.
Well, my point was, but that's a character interaction.
Yeah.
That's not just a picture and a hug. I think if you're going to pay extra for this, when we went to the, I think there should be more, is what I was going to say. When we went to the, what was it called? The Star Wars thing? The Star Wars breakfast?
The Galactic Dine-In Breakfast.
That's it. I didn't care, but they were there to interact with
Yeah.
you. We looked over and there was a stormtrooper. That's the white guys, right?
Yeah.
The stormtrooper was laying on the,
The
hood
men
of
dressed in white.
the man dressed in white. He was laying on the hood of a car doing a Whitesnake video at the table
He
next to us.
was. He was.
I mean, he was sprawled out across the hood of the car, and I think to myself, if you're going to pay extra to go someplace to meet these people, they should involve you.
yeah.
That's my feeling. And that walking around and just hugging people and tapping people on the head, that's not enough.
Let's take a break real quick, and you'll get kind of the vibe if you're watching our video edition, and we'll have this video in the show notes for those of you listening. Get a vibe of what this was like with the video I put together for this. So. Okay.
There's not a lot of things I refer to as iconic. I think that word is kind of overused.
Okay.
I think the lobby of the Contemporary Hotel is iconic.
Absolutely.
And sitting and having breakfast, under a Mary Blair mural with the monorail going overhead, that's old Disney World to me.
It is.
And I don't think the price was bad compared to other things. I don't think $39.95 or $99, whatever it was a ripoff. I think the character interaction is lacking. And I think that whole thing about having your photo taken with, I don't know if it was actually styrofoam, a plexiglass Mickey, I think that's kind of cheap too. But I think the food was well done.
The good part about any buffet is usually you can find the thing you like or the few things you like.
Right.
That was the case here. There was a few things that were great, a few things that were okay, and a few things that were just good. My favorite part was I got to know that Dustin has quite a few phobias. They started talking about swinging them napkins, and Dustin went into like Rain Man mode. They're gonna swing those napkins.
I think I got hit
They're
with
gonna swing those
a
napkins.
mango one time.
He was afraid like a knife was gonna fall out or something.
That's what I'm worried is like you've got like a David and Goliath slingshot, and some kid is gonna launch their knife and fork into my eyeballs. Or breadcrumbs.
We're going to have to get you a buffet helmet.
Exactly. So, like, I just, it's neat. It's fun. I think they should provide clean, non-metallic napkins for everyone for this activity that happens over the loudspeaker. Hey,
It's like a
everybody, get
fencing
ready.
mask.
Yes.
I have a secret. Well, it's not really a
I have more
secret.
phobias.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Dustin also doesn't like sharing the bowl of barbecue sauce.
I don't like communal barbecue sauce. I don't like communal ketchup.
Are you a double dipper?
Well, no, I'm just saying at the buffet, they have a giant bowl and a ladle for the ketchup and the barbecue sauce, and something freaks me out about that.
What about like salad dressings?
I'd even prefer that to be separate, but that is more acceptable, I think.
Now, the syrup does come in its own little dispenser.
Yes, it does. That has a pull-down dispenser. I'm fine with that. Sealed, no crossover action. Not a big fan of communal ketchup.
What do you think's going to happen?
I don't know. Sneeze.
There's two sections to the buffet. This is my secret. There's the front section that everybody can see when you walk in. They have the entire setup along the back. And while the front had lines waiting for people to get it, there was no one in the back.
And it's an exact replica.
Exact replica. Nothing different. I don't have a lot of other secrets.
One of the things that we kind of discussed while eating was that it's kind of weird that they call this a brunch. It's like, it's breakfast and you've got like ribs.
Right.
It
had the exact same vibe that you would get from your regular Chef Mickey's breakfast buffet, except there happened to be different items, some of which were, like you said, the etouffee. I don't know if the cheesy potatoes are at breakfast or not, but of course they had the ribs and then they had different types of scrambles and stuff like that.
Most brunches lean more towards breakfast, don't they? With a little.
Well, yeah, they are breakfast. Like typically you would find eggs Benedict at a brunch.
Oh, I love those.
But that was nowhere to be found.
There was a carving station where they had a ham and some other animal that I couldn't identify.
The ham was dry to my taste.
It was, everybody said the same thing. It was fatty and dry, which is hard to do. We did hear another table order a ham and cheese omelet. So we had already finished, and we called the server over, and she said, yes, you could order special eggs. You could order eggs your way. They could do the ham and cheese. They could do any of the veggies that are available on the buffet. So you could order something hot your way.
You couldn't get eggs Benedict or something. It was an omelet.
That's my favorite.
We specifically asked about eggs Benedict, and we were told no, they weren't available. It has to be the ingredients that are available on that day's buffet. And I think you're right. I think they added a couple of non-breakfast items and decided to call it brunch. And all they did really was extend the serving hours. Our server was great. There was, once you checked in, I think we were sat, what did Pete say, 15 or 20 minutes after our
Seemed like we waited quite a bit.
Yeah, we were probably waiting at the podium for 10 to 15 minutes, and we ran into a couple listeners and their families, and it was nice to see them. So that kind of helped pass the time. But I would have thought that we would have gotten seated a little bit quicker.
And it seemed that the tables were empty. Maybe they were just having trouble turning them over. I don't know. It was crowded. There was a bunch of people waiting, and the tables were all full. This is not your mellow, let's go out to brunch and have Bloody Marys kind of day.
Yeah.
I would tell you that if you're going in here, this is, it's more about meeting the characters. It's more about chaos and...
It literally just felt to me like an extension of their breakfast. It feels like they can get, with the addition of this, they can call it brunch, but they can get more reservations, more people in those tables, because it is a highly sought after reservation.
I think that's great, though. I think it offers more opportunity. Mm-hmm. There are also people, I joke about the fact that when John and I are on vacation, we often miss breakfast because they serve it till 10:30. And I don't, when I'm on vacation, I want to get up at my own pace. I
Right.
want to do what I want to do. So we oftentimes end up having lunch for breakfast where we have
Yeah.
missed the 9:30 or 10 o'clock cutoff point. So I think the idea that this is available is great.
Yeah, it's nice to be able to have breakfast items at lunchtime.
It sure is. That's what I'm the most excited about because I think that it's so cool, especially with teenagers. They don't want to get up early.
Yeah, I might be up early. I'm just not ready for the public yet.
What time did
Yeah,
y'all go
that's-
again?
We had
What
an
time was this?
11:55 reservation.
Yeah.
And if you have children, walking your children along the buffet and screaming, Joshy, do you want one of these? Joshy, do you want one of these? Joshy, do you want one of these? I would just push Joshy along and tell him pick out what he's going to eat. A 3-year-old was not very discerning. All he wanted was the communal ketchup.
Yeah,
I wanted to punt Joshy across the room.
he just wanted to dip his head and bob for ketchup. And to mention, you talk about different items for lunch that they offer at the brunch. The kids menu had different things as well. They had the chicken nuggets, the classic Disney chicken nuggets were available. They had mac and cheese, and the noodles or the macaroni was shaped like Mickey Mouse heads. So they had stuff like that.
They had chocolate chip pancakes. So
Yeah.
I was so disappointed that they were chicken nuggets from across the room. I decided they were the mini corn dogs.
Oh, that would have been wonderful.
I would have gotten my $39 worth of mini corn dogs, but
They had tater tots as well, which, the first plate I got, I went to the kids menu. I'm gonna try this stuff. That's the stuff I want because I was more in the mood for lunch at that point, just by my standards. I enjoyed the kielbasa a whole lot. I thought, but you did raise a good question.
Wait.
I do love kielbasa.
Okay, good. Go ahead.
One of you guys did raise a good point. That is this kielbasa good because
I can
It's
tell you.
extraordinary kielbasa. Wait,
It was like,
I can tell you if it's good.
I thought it was very good. I enjoyed it very much. It also was not. Sometimes when you go to a buffet, everything is one note. They're playing to the most common denominator, and they're making the flavors sort of even keel. This kielbasa had a little bit of spice to it.
and my question was, is it really, really good kielbasa, or are we kielbasa deprived? And it was really exciting to find it. Because everybody, all 4 of us were like, oh, look, kielbasa.
I do love kielbasa.
yes, he does.
I'm not cutting to my face when I do that.
No, you don't want that to be
Safe
online.
for
as a-
everybody. Yeah.
yeah, as a meme later on. It was, it was, in my mind, if I walk away from this, a general tone from this, it was perfectly acceptable, is how I would categorize
And I can tell you,
this.
I think the kids loved it. Kids are having a great
Yeah.
time, running around, screaming, laughing.
One of the things they've done, which I think is kind of cool, is they have taken the dessert off of the buffet
Oh, right.
and made their own island out of it. Which I'm trying very hard not to eat dessert.
So wait a minute, it was a dessert island. Thank you.
Hey, I get it
Thank
now.
you.
Good.
Thank you.
Yeah,
You're proud of yourself.
I'm
aren't
very
you?
proud of myself.
John made it funny.
I think I was the only one that was eating most of the dessert, and so I had to be the guinea pig to try all the different stuff.
And you brought your dessert back to the table, and we all sat there and watched you and asked you questions about it. I'm trying not to eat dessert. John's trying not to eat dessert. Pete's trying not to eat dessert. So we all sat there and watched you do it. So it's. I would not make this your destination for ribs. It's not,
I didn't care for the ribs.
it's if you're looking for a really great experience, or you're looking for a group of your friends are going out to brunch, this isn't the mimosa crowd. Okay, this is
Though you can get mimosas there.
You can
I was
get
gonna ask
alcoholic
that.
beverages. Yep. They had some
your
specialty
drink,
drinks.
your soft drinks, coffee, and juices were included in the price. So I don't have a whole lot more to say about it.
On the dessert island, just to note that
ahead, John.
that was on the desert island. It was very popular with kids. They kept running back and forth, but they had, this whole section where they had, different pastries and stuff like that, and then little mini desserts, like individual bite desserts, like, different flavors, like strawberry shortcake in a shot glass, or they had the Oreo with chocolate mousse with Mickey ears on it. But they also had a soft serve ice cream station, which was popular with kids.
It looked very sticky.
Yeah, it looked like it could be wiped down.
It's it's worth it if that's what you want to do. I don't mean to sound, I'm not being negative at all. As a matter of fact, we all walked away full. It's just that there's not a lot to recommend it. It's not a destination unless you want to go have breakfast with Mickey and the gang.
Well, let me bring this, as we wrap up on our review, let me ask you a question, all of you, about how they're handling this designation. Would you like to see more of the breakfast buffets do a brunch like this, extend their breakfast to brunch or lunch, or would you rather see a proper brunch somewhere on Disney property?
I would like them to do a brunch in the Grand Floridian where they hold the tea.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be, but make it a proper brunch. I think adding extra hours to a buffet and slapping some ribs and salmon on it, I don't have a problem with them adding extra hours or calling it brunch or whatever. I just think it's.
I do think the name is a bit misleading. Brunch technically means there's breakfast and lunch items in the mix, but I kind of had a different idea of what brunch was going to be, just based on my preconceived notion of what brunch is in other restaurants. That's my only concern. So,
brunch is really a reason to drink alcohol at like noon.
Right.
That's what I was
Exactly.
just going to say.
Absolutely.
It's booze and breakfast.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'm not a breakfast person, but I am a buffet person. So when you throw like a breakfast buffet, I'd never get my money's worth. I can eat all the eggs Benedict I want, but I still don't feel like I'm getting my money's worth. But you start going towards lunch buffets and dinner buffets. That's when you start getting me. So even there, I probably just would have ate my weight in whatever meat they had. Yeah. And if it wasn't good, I wouldn't be happy.
There was, they had some high-end stuff. There was a whole platter of smoked salmon. So it's not like they cheaped out. And they had a full fruit assortment. It was...
Yeah. Pretty much anybody could get anything. So I just wanted to raise that question because I'm not sure exactly how I feel about, let's say the Crystal Palace doing something similar to this and calling it brunch. I'd rather they just do breakfast, lunch, dinner, in my opinion. But if they're going to do brunch, do something that we're talking about here that we consider brunch.
Someone needs to do is try to get that brunch that's on the Disney ship on Palo and bring that to World.
Somehow, some way.
It would be expensive,
Yeah.
but
people would pay for it.
California
They
Grill
would.
could do something like that. That would be amazing.
yeah.
That would be the perfect spot for it.
Yeah.
To actually like the Palo brunch.
Yeah.
I think the one at the Wave is really, the breakfast buffet at the Wave is amazing.
we haven't done that yet, and quite a few people say it's very good.
They have eggs Benedict there, by the way, and it's really good. And they have sweet potato pancakes. It's really good. I would love it if they would extend that one out into a brunch and then maybe have an a la carte menu with lunch items if people wanted to order lunch, but that's a really good
I didn't know
one.
they had a breakfast buffet.
They do, and it's really good.
I think the California Grill, the more I think about that, I think that's a great idea.
Oh, yeah.
I would go to brunch there.
You talk about these restaurants in the contemporary, and they could really fill this whole thing out by adding these kind of things. So it's interesting to see. I'll be interested to see where Disney goes with this because this definitely feels like a tester to me. It feels like a move in a new direction.
I think my opinion is the big thing is that it allows us more tables, more seats,
Exactly.
more reservations.
More reservations to see those characters and eat at this
We
buffet.
could do that at Citric.
And I think
too.
it's good with the hotels on the monorail line because you don't feel like you're wasting. You're not missing too much time in the park that you can finish brunch and hop on the monorail and you're right there. You're not like got to catch the bus, got to catch the boat.
Cool. All right. Well, if anybody has anything else to add, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this one up. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, John. And we will call it quits on this episode. And
I know, one more time.
I love kielbasa.
Jeez.
Oh, wow.
I have nightmares.
I'm going to have that for dinner tonight.
he's still not going to cut to himself.
Every time he says it, it gets creepier and
It does.
creepier.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, that is going to do it for us this week. Thank you for sticking around if you were watching live, and thanks for listening. And we will see you next week with another edition of the Diz Unplugged. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.